I mean, what's up with it? Where y'all at? Don't black out on me. You know what I mean? Everybody is going crazy a little bit out here in the streets, and for some odd reason, there's a lot of inconsistencies on what happened on these events. And people was like, man, what's going on with As Is? Like, I thought him and him was straight. You know, I thought they were back straight. I'm like, man, I turn around and disc records are flying. So I'm like, okay, they right back at square one. you know, a lot of people felt slighted, and a lot of people be like, man, M don't owe them nothing. Man, they mad because M blew up and this and that. I'm trying to tell you, dog. When I was making my videos talking about him, y'all was going crazy. But everything that I'm saying is factual. Factual. Now, M and his team don't like it. That's why, man, dog. If I was just to be the goody two shoes, brown nosing person that YouTube would love, do you know why I would be right now? Can you imagine where I would be? I'll be sitting here with 500,000 views, kissing everybody butt, collecting money, lying to the people every day, selling other people's narratives. I would be sick to my stomach if I was to do that. I'm sacrificing money. I'm sacrificing everything just to tell y'all the truth. I've been told by people's managers, talking through other people, man, if he would just shut up. Like, dog, they've told me this 2 years ago. Man, if you'd have just shut up, and just play the game. Play the game. Play the game. They created a fake Facebook account just so they could let me know what they wanted to do. A fake Facebook account. 2 years ago, well, now it's 3 years ago, 2018. And it'd be alright, dude, if you just play the game. What game I need to play? Because I don't feel I need to play a game. See, they give the rewards to the people that play the game. I'm flying right. I'm flying straight. So I ain't trying to compromise myself. So I don't know what game they talking about playing, because I never signed up to play any game. I wasn't playing games. Wasn't in it for that. But when it comes to the culture of hip hop, I would be doing it a disservice if I didn't tell them the truth. And how people who are non-hip hop people have gotten control over what's supposed to be. No. Sorry. You can't dictate what I say, no matter what you try to take. Now, as is, let me go, as history goes back to about 2001, right? Like M and all of those guys came along later. When Az came to the group, they had already, I believe, met Bizarre from D12. Those who the Outsiders met. There's so many members and Outsiders, it would just blow your mind. It'd be too many of them to name, because they're all like groups and individual artists all together in one. Bizarre from D12, you guys know him. His rap name used to be The Weirdo. and he had a weird, crazy style, but he was more like deep, devilish, with it. But his style fit more with what the Outsiders was doing. So he came out, chilled, kicked it with him, and did his thing. Next thing you know, he came back out to visit. They brought Eminem. Yeah, we all know now Eminem's a household name. But when M came out there, it was like, whoa, what is this? Like, who's this guy? And that's when they did Mama Ma, Mama Say, Mama Ma Kasa. And they just was making beats and chilling in the outhouse, which was the Outsiders' crib. Now, all those guys who got on the song, it was like so many of them, Slang and all those dudes. M was like tight with those dudes, so often he hung around and he stayed out there because at that time they were getting on. I think Rod Digger was starting to blow up. She had a group she was in that didn't work out really, and she became a solo artist and started performing with Daz Effects. I think she was working with Daz and they was doing something, and then she started doing her own thing. Then she started messing with Buster. When she started dealing with Bust. After the Lyricist Lounge, they was just ripping things apart, man. So her, Buster and them took her under the wings, and Lauryn Hill, they was doing work with Lauryn Hill, and I think Young Z did some project work with them. And over the years, Eminem kind of went and did his own thing. He had his EP was out at the time. There was no Dr. Dre. And it had the I just don't give my mind. Well, that CD's on the rack. Go out and tell people my thing is whack. Somebody bum the bean. Cage Demon. And I'm like, dog, I was the main supporter. I had that EP. I had all Eminem's work back then. So I was on Eminem before anybody even heard of him. Before you guys even knew him. I had all the CDs. I had everything, bootleg, all of it. Infinite. I had all the Infinite songs, and I just like, dude, this dude, he's a battle rapper, and Infinite was clearly, not gonna make it. And you could tell right away Eminem's style started to change. Hanging around the Outsiders. It's naturally gonna happen, people. Your style is either gonna evolve or it's gonna die. Or it's gonna just be the same thing forever. So when you hang around great minds, you can't help but to get sharper. Like I told you, that's how the Wu-Tang always stayed on point. Because you got 9 other minds around you. And all of these dudes are, rhyming and coming up with lines, and they working together to make the best. That's why these songs were so sharp and on point, because they trying to out rap each other and not be the white guy on the track. It meant something. People took pride in it. So when M was around, the Outsider style he kind of picked up on. And Pace, he rapped like Pace and a little bit of Z and Az. He rapped like him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, these dudes, man, they were tight. I would say M took the style and made it better. Like, he perfected it. But if there was a grandfather to it, they was a grandfather to his style. If you want to say it that way, the Outsiders are like a grandfather to Eminem style. I would say that 100%, or basically the fathers, really, if you want to put it that way. They fathered his style. Now, the Esham thing with Eminem, and they said M kind of took the Esham thing. He was early on, until before he met the Outsiders, and then he kind of like used they crafty wordplay. He was really keen on that, and he perfected it to match his own style. So when he uses it, it's the same pattern, and you can hear it when Az raps. And people don't realize that the Outsiders kind of felt disrespected over the years, because they were on when they met Eminem, and they was pushing Eminem product everywhere. And he used to scream "Outsiders, Outsiders" all when his first CD and all this stuff was coming out. And then he kind of went away. He pushed them away, and he went over to D12 in Detroit with Bizarre, made his own crew, and basically forgot the Outsiders. I mean, he came out and completely dissed Lauryn Hill, and he made a lot of problems for the Outsiders, because they were cool with Lauryn. And, once he said that, and, about Lauryn Hill didn't like white people and all this stuff, and once he put that out there and tabooed her name and stuff, that right there, he didn't think about what that was doing to the Outsiders, because that was they vouched for him, so during that time he took Pace. Him and Pace was rolling tight, you know what I'm saying, more than anybody. Him, Pace, and I think probably Z was rolling with him. And I think Z went home one time because they really weren't getting paid, and then he did something for Pace, like a video or something for Pace's music. But him and Pace was like really tight at the time. Like, I think Pace was filling in because Proof wasn't there at the time. Proof wasn't really talking with him. For some reason, they weren't speaking each other. So, kind of how they had that little falling out in the movie. They had a falling out at the time. So, the hype man was Pace. And then Royce ended up being the hype man. He started getting Royce to do it. And as Royce got, Royce was his guy then. Proof was out, really, and he was just doing his thing. Then, Royce got his deal. So once Royce got his deal by the help of him, well, Royce wasn't feeling like doing it no more. He was like, man, just get Proof to do it. I don't want to do it no more. I'm working on my album. The superstardom is going to his head. Like, he finna blow up like M. Because M is like the biggest thing in the world. M was like, alright. So he went and grabbed Proof. Proof ended up being the hype man, and then that's when he got serious about putting D12 album out and back together, putting the group together and really doing what they're supposed to do. So he actually strengthened D12. Now, the Outsiders, their success don't go well for none of them. They're all like basically disband, start doing their own things, and Eminem's success is skyrocketing. He becomes like one of the biggest artists in the world, and he's D12, and he never mentions the Outsiders. Never mention them. He backpedals from them, doesn't mention a word about them. All he says is Rod Digger. That's the only one he used to mention is Rod Digger. And it's like, wow. Because she was already on, with Busta and getting her own deal. had on album out. So he was like, "Oh yeah, Rod Digger. I used to rap with Rod Digger back when she was with the Outsiders." He never mentioned that he was a member of the Outsiders. It was crazy. So if you're an outsider, you'll feel disrespected. So for years, all the members in the group, mainly Young Z, Pace, and I would say Az, those three, had a problem with him. They had a major, major problem with him back in the day, like some years ago. Because when Pace did I Declare War, oh my God. That beat still is sick. Boy, my goodness. I played that track, and 50 took the beat and ended up doing Southside to it. That's why I like Southside, because of that beat. Boom. Boom. Man, can't help but rip that. But anyway, getting off track, but I'm gonna get back on it. Az felt disrespected. You know what I'm saying? Like he felt like, I'm tired of the disrespect. This dude comes out for years, has had all this success. Not once do he give us our props. Not once do he mention anything that we're doing, and he's mad disrespectful. But his crew, D12, they show us love. You know what I'm saying? So he came out with a song. Everybody's talking about what Az did. Az came out with a song back in 2000. Was it 16? 2015. That song Ho about Eminem. He been did that. Ben dropped that track. Y'all just was asleep because they know how to submerge it. They know how to put it into the abyss where no one can find it. And that's where that record ended up, in the abyss where no one could find it. But Ho is one of those records. Now, to take things a little further, things got patched up, I would say a few years later, once M did the song, what was it? Final track or final line or something, or finish line or something like that. And he mentioned the Outsiders, he mentioned Pace, he mentioned Young Z, and them the only two he really mentioned in the group. And when he did I think it's Fine Line or something. And once he did that song and mentioned them in there, then Pace was like, he finally gave us our respect. That's all we asked for. But he didn't mention Az Izz. He didn't mention Az. And that's kind of crazy, because Az was there too. I'm not saying they was the best of friends, because Pace is the one I know that was the closest to him out of everybody. Now, the way he distanced himself from him was, very weird. Um, it's it's Hollywood. You got to do what you got to do, or sometimes they do what they're told. They don't want to blow their position, but still, it's what happened. And things seem to be okay because once that was done, I guess Az had some work he was doing on some mixtape projects or whatever, and he was allowed to go up to the studios and on Shade 45 and promote. Shady, let him up there. There was no problems. And this is just 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, some things did not go the way it was supposed to go. And because of that, Az Izz dropped a song called What I Shouldn't Say or What I Can't Say. So when he dropped that song, everybody couldn't wait to talk about this song. I mean, it was the most talked about, hated diss record ever. But me, I'm listening to the lyrics. That's what I'm doing. I'm listening to the lyrics. People are not listening to the lyrics. I'm like, look, I need to listen to what's being said. What I can't say. Because obviously he was going to do this and people were talking and trying to talk him out of it. So now he feels like I'm not cool with the rest of the outsiders. So I'm doing my own thing. Well, he said some very key things in the song. Mostly he's saying some things that only Eminem would know. Like most of the things that people in the general public never heard of before. He actually includes the fact what he wasn't allowed to say is that Kim and Eminem are stepbrother and stepsister. And they have a child together. That Kim was adopted. That's what he's alluding to, as is that Kim was adopted and they ended up dating. That was about the only bombshell in that song that was that I heard. Now I listened to lyrics, so when I heard that, I was like, that's new. Like I never heard that, and it's all plausible because with him, it's just really things are behind closed doors. Does he have a gag order on her? Absolutely, he has a gag order on Kim. Kim cannot make a book. Kim cannot, really go on radio and talk about him in a negative light. He takes care of all Kim's bills and her house, everything. So this is like kind of how he is with all the stress and the pressure and all this nonsense that's going on. This is his life, 100 grand. Now, even with all of these things being said, right? We went over the entire spectrum on where things are supposed to be and how is it supposed to look, how things are supposed to move. Now, he dropped another one called Super Today that was vicious. And he was kind of going at Royce, who intervened into the situation. And I mean, he gave it to Royce. That whole track, Super Today, was a monster. Now, if he put that out, okay, people gonna have to shut up. But that was mostly aimed at Royce for taking up for Eminem. Yeah, all this Eminem must retire. He can't respond to the track. I mean, Eminem's not going to respond to that track. The track was not a very good track to begin with. And when I heard it, I said, this is not the one. This is not the one that's going to dethrone him. But probably got his attention. Now, Royce is going to do what M wants him to do. So he ain't going to make a move until he gets some word from him to say how we going to proceed with this. Because now Royce is 100% on the ball, on on point. People change. Royce probably was a problem back in the day, before he got locked up. Since he been out, man, Royce has really been like on some grown manish. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when he comes capping for Eminem, sometimes it's just like you kind of wonder, like, are you feeling all right, dude? Like, really, are you feeling okay? Do you need a doctor or something? So, whatever the disconnect is between the two, again, it seemed to have resurfaced. And I'm guaranteeing you this is stringing around the fact that M was promised to doing some things that he did not live up to doing. We've seen it before. We've seen it again. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great night. It's your boy Carcino. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Hit that notification bell. And check and see if you are subscribed to me. Please check and make sure that you are still subscribed. Some weird thing is going on where some people are saying that they're not. It's showing up that they're not subscribed and all kind of goofiness. So please make sure that you're signed up to the page. All right, I'm out.